Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to This Old House and our 1890s shingle style up here on Cape Ann. A lot of work going on, as you can see, and last week a lot of that work was up here on the 3rd floor. Tommy and Charlie slid about a 20-foot beam through the gable end into this 3rd floor space. We cut away the ends of the rafters, slid the beam in between them from either side, and then reattached the rafters. That allowed us to take down the collar ties and the low ceiling and end up with a big open space with about 13-foot high ceilings. Down here on the 2nd floor, it started with abatement, getting rid of the asbestos and the lead. So that meant pretty much taking everything back to the studs, but it gave us a big open floor plan so that we could put in a master bedroom, a master bath, 2 bedrooms, and then another office off the back of the house. As you descend through the house, this is pretty much remaining unchanged, except for a new doorway going to the back of the house that is now lined up with the front doorway right here. And, wow, there are a lot of changes that went on out here. Now, there used to be a garage right here that went up right to about that birch tree. It wasn't original and it wasn't very nice. So it went away, as did the deck that was on top of it. And it's gonna get replaced with a new covered porch. Right here with the roof coming off, posts will come down, they'll sit on the existing foundation, this beautiful granite foundation right here. And Mark, your job is to make sure that the new stuff looks old.
Exactly, so anytime we do a renovation or restoration in masonry, the main goal is to match what we have.
So how'd you get started here?
We actually dug down, hit the ledge, drilled into the ledge, placed re-rod with epoxy. We tied all that steel together. We poured the concrete, but what it did was it allowed us to put a block wall up behind where we're gonna lay our stone, so it created a ledge.
So this stuff is obviously granite, Mark. Where did you get this?
So luckily for us, we actually got this right off the site. When Charlie tore down the garage, there was a little extra stone, but there's a wall out back that has all the stone we need for this wall and the steps.
Our wall?
Our wall, don't worry, yep. This is like blunt force trauma, Kevin.
Yeah, but it's actually a little bit more precise than you would imagine.
Yeah, and that one's gonna work for me. Let me, now I gotta butter the bed. So I want a fat bed joint. So I have plenty of area for the stone to sit. That fits well. I might just back butter that stone a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And that way I can wiggle it into place.
Look at that.
The important thing for me right now, Kevin, is going to be my height, which looks pretty good. I want to keep these joints as tight as possible. And again, mimicking the work next to me.
Concrete on 3 sides and then filling in the back.
And you got to fill in the back. That's what's going to hold it together. Sometimes I like to bounce my trowel from behind. That way it'll fill the joint from the back, which will ensure that I have a full joint.
And then your, I forget, jointing tool?
Yeah, this is just a flat joiner. And again, it's a tool that I have to use because I'm trying to mimic the joints that exist in the stonework now.
The mortar whisperer, I love it.
Yeah.
Phone, cable, and power line come from a utility pole overhead to the house. You can see the mess of wires behind me and the power wires still going up there. Now the homeowners don't want to see them, especially from the new kitchen window. So we got to fix that. Hey Heath.
Hey Kevin, how are you?
All right, so you're the guy with the fix for us.
Yeah, I think we have a solution for this.
Which is?
So we're going to take everything underground and get rid of the overhead wires that we have now.
Okay.
For the start of it though, first thing we have to do is dig a trench.
And how deep do we need to go with that trench?
So for this, we typically want to be deep enough to get the conduits about 18 inches from the top of the conduit to the top of finished grade.
How'd the digging go?
Not good, you know the site.
Exactly.
A lot of ledge, really couldn't dig down too far. But what we have to do when we not able to dig down far, we have to bring grade up.
All right.
Then we put in 3 inches of sand to soften up everything around the conduit. So we'll start at the pole, put a piece of rigid up there for protection. We'll come down with Schedule 40 PVC in the ground. When we got over here, we still had some issues trying to get through the original rock wall and through everything in here because of the ledge again. So we actually had to heat some pieces up, do some custom bends, and get this to fit.
Beautiful. And so I'm looking at the Schedule 40 pipe right there.
That's it.
Coming up into your box.
Yep, coming up to the meter.
And then so you guys have already got a rope through there. How'd you get that?
We did. So we start, once the conduit's complete, we'll use a mouse like this.
Mouse, huh?
And instead of using a vacuum, we'll use a blower. We'll actually push this mouse through the line to kind of help clean it out and pull this string through. And that gets attached to the conductors right over there.
Big box. What are we pulling to the house?
So we're pulling 400 amps to this house.
What? What did we have originally?
100 overhead. Wow. Yeah, so quite a difference. 400 amps, we're pulling THWN conductors that are ready to be underground.
So how much wire do you think we just pulled?
And we have about 85 feet of conduit in the ground. I'd say we probably pulled a little over 100 feet the whole way by going up the pole.
Times 3, so 300 feet of wire?
Yep.
That's a lot of copper.
Yeah, and a little over a pound a foot. You know, we're looking somewhere around 400 plus pounds that we just pulled through this.
And what does it cost?
For all of this was about $2,400 for the copper.
All right, so next steps for you guys?
Next, we're gonna leave these wires where they are. We're simply gonna disconnect what we pulled through with on the rope, and then we'll go inside and make up the terminations in the panel. When that's all set, we can have an inspector call it in, and the utility company can tie in the overhead.
Love it. Thank you, Heath.
Thanks.
Good job.
So plenty of progress up here. They're already wall boarding on the top floor. They got all the foam in. So I thought it'd be a good time to sort of catch up on the progress on the mechanical side. We're here in the master bathroom, a couple of lavatories right here. We've run PEX piping up to it. And we've got a shower here, big generous shower, but doing it the conventional old way for our pan. This is a copper pan. It's been soldered together here to make a nice watertight seal. And then there'll be mud and tile over top of that. Now, in this house, we've got this style of toilet. Now, I want to show it to you before it gets covered up. The toilets will not sit on the floor like conventional North American toilets. It'll be hung from a carrier. This is a carrier made out of steel, you can see right here. And the weight of the toilet will be carried from these bolts right here, and all the workings will be hidden inside the wall beautifully with a nice cover plate, and the toilet will be here in the private alcove. Here in the laundry, they're about to close the walls in, but I wanted to show you one really good practice. Now, we're going to have a gas-fired condensing boiler down in the basement to make some radiant heat on the first floor. Now, you could just vent that thing out through the sidewall, but when you do that, you're going to leave a big plume of exhaust coming out through the side of this beautiful building. I would prefer always to vent up and through the building. So here you can see the exhaust that's been run up through. It's going to go out through the roof. And this is an important material. This is polypropylene. This is a plastic that's designed to be used for the higher temperatures of a gas appliance. So I love that. And now we also need fresh air to be burned in the boiler, so we're going to use the PVC to bring air back down to that combustion appliance. Really good practice. This building will have a series of what we call microzones, individual units that will provide cooling and second stage heating in different places of this building. We're in this office, which is this weird space which is away from the main part of the second floor, separated by a stair hall. So we decided to put a separate unit right here. Now, we could have put a high sidewall unit that you've seen before, but this is actually a picture frame. So this picture frame, it can be changed to have any picture you want in it, and when you turn it on, this is going to provide all the heating and cooling in this space. When you turn it on, these side flaps would come on, this would tip down, and it would provide the heating and cooling in the building. Now, in this case, we wanted to put it in during the rough-in, but we wanted to make sure it actually survived to the finish line. Only the Silva brothers would build a custom cover that fit like a glove. Love these guys. So down here you can see the supplies that we need to get to each of our 8 microzones. All we really need are these small refrigerant lines that are insulated and a condensate line. Instead of a big duct, we have to get these to the individual units. That's pretty good. And these have been tested. They're under full pressure, so we're safe to put the walls in. The other thing that I love is this. You see this? It's a piece of cast iron. Now, right above us is that master bathroom. And it has a toilet that when it's flushed, if this was regular PVC, you would hear it here in this living room. So they transitioned it to cast iron to make it quiet. Good plumbing should be not seen and not heard.
With our floor plan now open and our interior framing nearly complete, it's time for our homeowners to finalize some decisions on their kitchen. So we've come to our idea house here in New Canaan, Connecticut. It's an 1840s Greek revival that has been beautifully restored, and it's also an opportunity for us to try out new ideas and new products. So it's the perfect place for Molly and her designer to get some inspiration. Hey, Molly.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Michele.
Hey, Kevin. Great to see you again.
Yeah, so we worked together about 5 years ago, so it's great to have you back on the team.
It's good to be back.
You ready to show us around?
Absolutely.
Where do you want to start?
I think we should start in the kitchen and this open living space because, Molly, we just opened up your kitchen.
We did.
And
Yep.
figured this is a good place to start.
I love it, and I love the bank of windows, which we're going to have in my kitchen as well.
Yes, you are.
So think of this as your own personal showroom, okay? Look around, grab some ideas.
Can I take it all with me, too?
Well, you can take something with you, for sure.
I think starting with countertops is good because I know you're concerned about durability of counter surfaces. This is a man-made quartz material, and look how they've mitered the thickness, much
looks
thicker
like-
than standard.
Yeah, it looks like one big piece of stone.
But it isn't.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it.
Really like that. Looks really good.
And this, I want to show you, is a freezer column. So in your kitchen, I believe we should split up the refrigerator and freezer.
Okay.
Which is kind of what you mean by a column, right? They're not
Exactly.
adjoining, separate.
They're completely separate units.
Look at all that space.
All that space. We're
That's
doing
a
a lot
lot
of
of ice
cooking.
cream.
Yeah, a lot of ice cream, exactly. I love this panel. I love how the panel is a lot taller than the actual refrigerator, or freezer, so you wouldn't actually know that there's a freezer behind there.
Yep.
It does integrate nicely into the design a little bit nicer.
Yeah, very well done.
The list is starting to grow. Got it?
And here's your big window with your main sink. And I wanted to point out the style of the cabinetry here to you because these are inset cabinets. Do you know the difference?
Remind me again. I know we've had
Inset
this
cabinets
conversation.
are set flush in the actual frame of the cabinet box. So you're looking at the frame of the carcass and the door is set flush within it.
And overlay would mean that the cabinet front or drawer front would sit on this frame right here. And just so you have an appreciation, that detail, when it's inset, that's a very fussy operation. So that's a high quality, almost furniture-like cabinet.
And now this is the range. This is a 48-inch dual fuel, full range.
Gas up top, electric for the ovens.
Right.
Nice.
Which you know I'm an induction fan.
You are
So
an
we're gonna be doing
induction fan, so
Don't
we
like
are
the
going to do
gas,
that in
right.
your kitchen.
Yep.
The other thing to note here is this backsplash is the same material as the counter. What do you think about that?
I really like that.
So Molly, off of the main kitchen, there's a little transition space and a couple things for you to think about. The built-in coffee maker.
Oh, my husband would love this.
Okay, and then, it's a show house, so we played around a little bit. The water
This
dispenser.
is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it even tells you how many plastic bottles you saved.
Yes, it does. But what we're getting to is what we're calling the working kitchen. So if that's the public space out there, maybe you're entertaining and the caterer's in here, extravagant, we know, but it is an idea house. And note up top, no upper cabinets, open shelving.
The open shelving always scares me because I love it in concept, but in reality, I just feel like it's a little impractical. For
Yeah, it leaves you exposed, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Well, it's a trend now, but you
It
can
is.
decide.
Now there's one more thing I want to show you that I think you're going to love. This could be for Caroline.
Oh,
I love that.
yeah, absolutely.
So I love how it's
And
all
it
built
doesn't
in.
take up much space at all.
No,
Get
that's
her in on the
fantastic.
work, yeah.
Exactly.
So I heard a lot of things added to the list, at least to consider. Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yep. And so do you think you've got everything you need? Anything else that needs to be decided on?
Well, we have to select appliance models.
Ah, okay.
So that's another shopping trip.
This is the Seaport District of Boston, and that shopping trip brings us to this showroom. Molly, Michele, you guys okay shopping in a place like this?
We are. We love it.
So we're going to start with refrigerator and freezer.
Yes, so just like in the Idea House, we're looking at a column refrigerator. This size is 30-inch, so that's what we're going to use for the refrigerator. And it's going to be separated like it was in the Idea House.
So not side by side like we're seeing
Correct.
here. Okay. And what are we looking at there?
This is the cabinet style that we'll be using to panel the refrigerator and all the
Nice.
drawers with.
Okay.
And this is the color.
3 decisions. I love it.
Now, Molly, we have to work this into your project.
I love this piece. As we've talked about, we want the butler's pantry to be multi-purpose.
Right.
And so I see it as a place where we can also mix drinks.
Yep. Lots of wine storage.
This is amazing. More than enough.
And then this drawer is refrigeration for drinks.
Fantastic.
And the bottom is freezer.
Oh, so we can have ice all ready to go for cocktails. Hi, Sean. Good to
Hi,
see you.
guys. How are you?
Good.
Welcome.
Sean, are you in charge of the cooking demonstration for us?
I am. We have an induction cooktop here, which I understand you have.
Yes. So I've had induction for the past couple years now, and I absolutely love it. I find that it's easy to clean. We all know that when you cook, things splatter. You make a mess sometimes, so you can easily wipe it down. There are no knobs, so for small children, you don't have to worry about small children moving the knobs or turning on the oven automatically. And it is very fast.
Yeah, the precision that you just saw there for delicate sauces like béarnaise or hollandaise or even simmering rice, really, really good results. And it happens to be the most energy efficient cooking product you can get.
I didn't know that. That's an extra bonus.
All right, well, thank you, Sean. And Michelle, thank you. Looks like we made a lot of good decisions today.
Yeah, a lot of progress.
Nice.
Good work, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Off of this front entryway, off of the front staircase, is this hallway right here that leads back to the family room and over to the mudroom and garage. But Tommy, the homeowners don't like the ceiling. What's wrong with it?
Well, I don't like the ceiling either, Kevin. I think it's too sharp. It's just a simple gable ceiling.
Right.
All right. But the reason for the ceiling is to hide the stringers right here for the stairway that leads up to the second floor.
Yeah, we sort of built right up to them, and that set our angle.
So this angle of the stringer is matched on this side right here. So it's like the underside of a pitched roof.
Yep, we got an A-frame, you got a little flat part right there.
Right, and that flat part is what we tried to soften. So we made a radius to fit underneath it, but it still doesn't look right to me.
What would you like to see?
I would love to see a barrel vaulted ceiling up here that has an ellipse in it.
Okay.
All right, now if I do the math and I do the ellipse, which means I want to gain this point right here, the widest point, and I would like to get the highest angle right there. But if I draw out the ellipse, and you've seen it drawn right here on the side of the stringer?
I do. I can already see the problem with that. You're
Yeah.
digging into those stringers.
Going to dig into that stringer, and it's a lot of work that's already been done, so we're going to work with what we have. I'm going to make a radius that fits in between from this point over to that point.
All right, and how do we do that?
All right, well, the simplest way to do it is to make a template first of the rafters. There's that side. Now I mark this side. Rafter there at the bottom and the top. So here's our template made of the rafter angle right here. Okay, so now I need to find an arch that's going to fit in between this location right here. Okay, so I just take a nail and bring that right over there like that. I'm going to take a nail, I'm going to put it right here. Like that. I'm going to take another nail, I'm going to put that right there. And I'll put another nail right there. Okay, so that's the widest part of the ceiling in relationship to the arc that we're going to draw. All right? So I also want to make sure that the arc that I draw doesn't interrupt this line or plane of the roof. To do that, I'm going to take a stick that I've nailed together, and the stick has to be long enough so that it sits on one end here and makes it all the way over to this side right here.
So one side has to be long enough between those 2 points.
Right, and the same with this side, okay?
So what does that stick do for you?
Well, this stick here tells me that when I swing this arc, I won't interrupt this plane of the rafter. And you can play with this, make it steeper or shallower, and the higher I make it, the more it's going to cut into the rafter. So now if I take this and I bring it over here like this and gently keep it right on that, and I bring my pencil here, I'm going to slide the stick along, keeping it down on the nails, right in the V, bring it around, put that, yep, just like that. Bring it right around. And just keep going right around, following that, keeping the nail and the stick together. Bring it right around. Bring it right down. And now I have my arch that is going to fit in between the two rafters without cutting any of the rafters or the stringers.
That is pretty slick there, Euclid. I like it.
Now all I want to do is cut these two straight lines above the rafters, then we'll cut this arch out here, and then we can make a template. put it up here. Come to the wall. Now I'm gonna slowly push it up. Good. Nice, nice, not too deep. Okay, not too deep now. Good, nice and slow.